Hey everybody, welcome back. Happy Saturday. I just want to quickly go through all of the bosses that I've ran through in the PTR, putting over 100 plus hours so you don't have to. So you can get some opinions of the prog you're going to expect going into ICC week 1. Enjoy. Let's get right into it. I think there's one boss that I don't even have to go that hard into, and you guys saw if you're watching any of the streams from any Fusion player, and that's Lich King. You're going to need a lot of reps. The first phase is a lot of trial and error while your tank's learning how to deal with the ads, how to deal with the diseases, your raiders learn how to use shadow traps. Then you get into the second phase where you're dealing with the Valks and trying to slow them and CC them and people winning positions and timing. It's going to take a lot of time to learn this. And you should definitely start it out on normal week 1 without saying. And it's just the hardest fight in the tier. It's probably going to be the hardest fight until maybe Heroic Rag in Firelands next, and if they do Kata. So this boss is going to take a lot of reps. I think it goes without saying. That's why I'm just going to get out of the way. Now, the bosses I think you should be doing on Heroic week 1, these are easy bosses. You can get them done in probably like half pug groups. They're very simple, and the mechanics aren't that advanced. And I'm going to put Marigar there, because all he does is spin in a circle and CC some people with some low health bone spikes. So very easy, very chill. You can for sure do that week 1. And then I'm also going to add the loot ship, colloquially known as the loot ship. It's so easy that you can just get the loot off of it. So that'll be nice for your prog. I think the stats were, out of all the public logs, 80% of the attempts on Heroic Gunship were kills. That's the highest rate out of all the bosses. Moving right on, there are some fights that I think could be in between here, week 1 and week 3, because there is a small learning curve, and I know the majority of people don't have a lot of time. And that's the thing, is that how much time you have is a significant factor here. I want to do Feska and Rawface together, and these are pretty simple. These together could be in the week 1, but it depends on how much time your guild has, because the first 4 bosses are time consuming if you want to learn them, and one of them is a lot harder than the other 3, but we'll get into that later. But these 2 should be a lofty week 1 goal for sure. Week 2 and 3 you should go for these 2. They drop extremely good loot, including like this caster trinket, just dislodge foreign objects. So these are something that you want to approach very quickly. And I'm also going to put Dreamwalker there. These 3 can all be done week 1. It all depends on how much time you have, the reps you want to do, and what you see yourself as a guild doing. You don't want to burn people out, because this is the last phase. Moving on beyond that, I think the bosses that can cover this week 5 plus category: Death Whisper. I think this is Sour Fang. Let's put Sour Fang in there. Let's put Blood Council, because these 2 fights do take a lot of reps and are a little tough. I'm also going to throw Blood Queen in there, because getting to these end bosses, again, takes time. This all takes time. What you have available for you, the reps you can put in. Lady Death Whisper sucks. There's a lot going on, and people aren't ready for the fight. They're not ready to dodge ghosts. They aren't targetable. People aren't ready to deal with mind controls. People aren't ready to kick ads. People aren't ready to decurse. There's a lot going on. It's one of those fights that people need to see to believe and work through the reps. Sour Fang isn't that difficult, in my opinion. This is one of those lofty ones that could be done week 3. It's not that difficult, in my opinion, compared to some of the other fights. But this fight does take reps, and you can use some DI cheese to get through the fight a little bit easier. But once people understand their Blood Beast and the healers have their marks unpacked, and people using defensives when they receive Blood Boil debuff, then it will go a lot smoother. You'll have less marks. You'll get the kill. This should be done pretty quickly. This can go between each of them again. Blood Council sucks. I think out of all the fights in ICC, this one, by far and away, is the one that is the least consistent in the way it operates, because of how the mechanics work. Once your Hunters, Warlocks, and DKs get their heads, add their bombs, and start focusing on kinetic bombs, people start focusing on their own movement debuff, people start focusing on the shock vortex, and understand how these mechanics work. Not just know what they are, but how they work. This fight will become a lot easier. But for now, it's a pain in the ass. and it does take reps. Lastly is Blood Queen, and I don't think Blood Queen is that difficult. Blood Queen is one of those other fights that I think you could do week 3 once you get a little bit of gear and a little bit of reps. But Blood Queen is also kind of annoying because of the bite order. You have a bunch of mono brain DPS that just want to go Mongoloid style and get the bite first, and one thing leads to another and they're dead. So this also is an important boss because the wipes you have on Blood Queen affect Lich King. And for those of you who don't know, if you run out of attempts on normal, Lich King goes away. If you try to do your 1 out of 50 on heroic, Lich King will go away if you get down to 1. So be very careful and mindful of the amount of attempts you have left for Lich King, because he will run away because he's a little bitch. Week 7, I just want to throw Cindy and Putricide in there. They buffed Putricide because he was using 10-man damage, and now he's doing 25 damage, and he hurts. That third phase is the damage check is all that matters, and it does so much damage. The AoE from the debuff that it puts on the tanks can escalate extremely quickly, and it is very annoying. So make sure you have a taunt order, maybe a bop taunt, shield wall taunt to try to relieve some of the pressure of those stacks, give yourself more time, give your healers some reprieve. Have proper lust, good positioning. This takes reps. This one, and we still wipe it in on the PTR, and the same with Cindy. Cindy is a marathon. It is a marathon, not a sprint. It is a marathon. Your damage does not matter as much. It's all about survival, understanding what the mechanics do, and acting on those mechanics. If you get Unchained Magic, you run out, you stop casting. You don't stack it to 20 and blow up the entire raid because you're trying to still cast in the background because you think you're God's gift to the world. So this is what I think if I was in like a semi-hardcore guild, this is how I would kind of center my prog. Some of these are interchangeable. For example, another good way of looking at this is that if you're confident in your guild, you could do this. Move everything up. You know, there's a lot of mobility here, depending on how confident you are in your raid team. But I wanted to go a more conservative route for people that are just kind of getting into things. And again, if you are trying to focus on one of these 4 bosses or like one of these 2 bosses, focus on the bosses that will give you the most gear. For example, Sindragosa is a more important heroic in my opinion than Professor Putricide, because Sindragosa drops the best caster trinket in the game, and if it drops, then the casters will be getting like 450, 500 DPS, especially fire mages and, you know, Affliction Warlocks. So I would tailor your prog based on time and the upgrade that you can get for the entire raid. So I hope this helps a little bit, and that's about it for now. Hey guys, thanks for watching that. I put a little bit of time and try to figure out my thoughts on this because I really want you guys to succeed. I'm trying to plan my GDKP, and I'm going to be using a plan similar to this because I want to kind of ease into it, kind of like how we did Old War, because I don't want to burn people out, but I do want to get the fights down, and I'm confident in my team. So I hope this helps a little bit, and if you like what you saw, please drop a subscribe below, like the video, drop a comment, helps the algorithm. Thank you very much, and hopefully I can catch you next time, or catch me live on Twitch, on twitch.tv/ItsPummel, and I just added a Patreon, and I'm going to be throwing some Patreon supporters at the end of my videos. Your guys' support has been excellent, and I'm very grateful. So enjoy your day, and good luck in ICC. Peace.